When people are here, their friends are hanging out with each other, they're doing things after hours, they're having lunch with each other. They're actually here for each other and not the culture.
How awesome was Nick Mallory? Let's give it up. He had me at IPA. Okay, some of you are beer drinkers. He had me at IPA. I'm super excited about the rest of this day, and it's not just because of the after party. And Gabe, I cannot wait to see how you dress there. Are you coming? Of course. Yes. But the other reason is that we have a lot, I can't mention everybody left, but do you know that we still have Tim Grover coming on this stage? Has anybody ever heard of Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan? He coached them both. So that's coming. But actually, I'm super excited about a nice chat, and hopefully we can give him a round of applause, because without him, this would not be happening. A nice chat with the CEO and co-founder of Follow Up Boss, Dan Corkle. Can we give that a round of applause? To tee this up, the best way to tee this fireside chat up is this young man, especially compared to me, this young man has accomplished a lot. And it's been a journey for him to become the #1 EXP team in the world. Actually, over the last 3 years, he's either been #1 or #2 in the world. And I just had someone check outside to make sure that I was right about that. And as of right now, he's #1 in volume right now, all EXP. But the journey is the part that I think we're going to learn from. So it is my pleasure to introduce, from Fast Team, I think he's Oakland and East Bay, San Francisco, please, a big round of applause for Kenny Truong. Have a seat, my friend. Go. All right. So, Kenny,
Yeah.
You and I met in Calgary at, of all things, John Cheplack.
I was in Calgary.
Oh, but
We met somewhere. I was in Calgary.
well, and then
I was actually born in Calgary, right? Randomly.
well, let's put it this way: I've seen you at over 5 conferences in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Okay. And what intrigues me is you just didn't take the normal route to be #1. And one thing that hasn't really happened so far at this conference is maybe some of the struggles you have just growing up. And so, if you don't mind, I heard you were a bit of a troublemaker. Can you shed some light on that growing up?
Yeah, I kind of spoke to you about that earlier. I didn't really do that good in school. I was kind of always making a ruckus in class, and either next to the teacher or the back row. I was in principal's office writing lines like Bart Simpson every day. That kind of got into middle school. I did okay in middle school. I had like a lot of passions too early on, even though I was geeking out on certain things too. Like I ran the Magic the Gathering card club at school, and then I ran like the science lab in middle school. But high school, kind of got in trouble. I was going to a lot of raves, EDM and stuff, and starting like late high school, and he got arrested a few times. I shouldn't have shared that. I was like selling drugs, got a felony, but that was and I got arrested at 16, and then I didn't learn my lesson. Actually, I got arrested. They took me back to the police station, and then I called my dad to pick me up, and then I called a taxi to go back out there again, but my dad stopped them. But I got arrested again at like 19, got a felony. After that, I decided like I need to do something else with my life, and kind of just picked a lot of different gigs and work late after high school.
So unofficially, you're a drug dealer.
I've always been in sales. Yeah. But I like selling things online. Even like in 5th grade, I got my first computer. I was literally living on the internet. By late middle school, high school, I was at a computer show every single weekend, buying parts, selling computers, building websites and stuff like that. So I was pretty passionate. I was like really passionate about something and to dive right in.
I think it's just so classic. So as you're dealing drugs, you're also geeking out on video, you're geeking out on technology, you're geeking out on all sorts of. What do you think that came from? Were you just born with that kind of enthusiasm about that kind of stuff, or?
I don't know. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I realized last year I took some tests. I probably am like slightly autistic or something. Like I've like dived into things really hardcore, and like I played a lot of video games growing up, and I was always like top 1% of a video game, whatever I played.
And then the other thing that in our last conversation we had that came up is, let's put it this way: you didn't have a privileged, if you will, or how about this? You weren't rich.
No.
Growing up. So explain that, how that was in the early years, and maybe how you can leverage that today, especially considering you run the #1 AXP team.
I had a lot of great growing up. So I was born in Calgary, came over to Oakland, California when I was 3. My parents had my brother. My parents didn't speak English. My dad was a mechanic, came over. He still actually is a mechanic to this day. He's retiring this year, and he's actually in Vietnam right now. He left yesterday for a month on vacation. Me and my brother, he usually goes back like twice a year. We take care of him. My mom was a waitress and was a waitress her whole life. So growing up, didn't have a lot of stuff. We shared like a room with my brother and my dad in the first couple of homes. So just had a lot of grit. I was good at making money in high school during other different ways too. I don't want to talk about. But I've always been a hustler. And I really enjoy working and staying active and doing things.
Mm-hmm. And then, as a child, play much sports? Any sports?
No. In elementary school, I was the skinniest, shortest kid in class every year. Because when you take pictures for your class, I was always last in the corner next to Virginia. The shortest, skinniest girl in class, so I was not athletic. I was killed in dodgeball though, just because I didn't have a lot for them to hit. And then I didn't get picked for sports, so that's why I kind of focused more on stuff I could actually control, or I was built for, mentally built for, not physically. Yeah.
Okay, so you're really good at dodgeball because you're so small they couldn't hit you, right? Your target was so small, but did being that small in the class every time put a little chip on your shoulder? Like, you know,
I think so. I think like a lot of the girls bullied me. I was always loud. I was talking, probably verbally saying stupid stuff I shouldn't have said. But that's kind of how to this day.
So, in our recent conversation, I didn't realize this either. There were times where you had not just 2 jobs, you had multiple jobs at one time. What gave you that drive to do? I want to hear actually where you work too, but what gave you that drive to do that much at that young of an age?
Well, after I had to find a new career path, so like probably early 20s, so it makes 6 years to get out of college. Like 3 years could be 3 years could be college, 3 years regular college, I guess call it. Like I studied marketing and business. So by then I was probably like 24 years old, and I think that was the kind of year I got my license. Within that 2-year span, I worked like 4 or 5 different jobs. Randomly, I worked at Walmart for probably like a year off and on, demoing the games in the hallway. You know that, not Nintendo Wii, but they had this PlayStation Play or something, so you had the little hand thing. And that was in like deep East Oakland. It's pretty hood. And then I would sneak out on weekends to do open houses and come back or showings. Another job I had was like moving computer cables around and systems, detaching monitor stuff as a contractor gig from like when you went to Facebook campus and Pixar campus and Google. It was super fun. And then another job was work for a nail salon company, this market company that kind of got the start where they were sending pallets of like lotions and coffee cup filers and nail filers where I would actually go to different shops where I'd give it to them for free. And then one job said, another weird job I had, it was a 1 gig that lasted like 4 months. I worked for a company that was building out maps in San Francisco. So I had to walk literally every single block in San Francisco and write down the parking meter of the exact time. So I was gathering data, and I screwed up so many times I had to go back out. So I literally walked every block in San Francisco during a period of time. But the one that kind of got me like a start in real estate was I worked for this marketing company. They were a third-party service for auction.com. You remember those big, ugly yellow or green signs all over for closure crisis? They would send me pallets of these signs. Originally, I just picked up a pallet that had all these signs, but people would come knock on my door. We're just grab it at on the patio. I lived in my parents' house, but some people were nice enough to courtesy knock on the door and grab the signs. And I got to meet realtors, a couple of them, and one of them I met this really funny large Nigerian guy. He was like still one of the funniest people I met, and then he did like REOs and banknotes and stuff like that. And he offered me a job on the spot, and I took it. I was like in my pajamas. I was like, yeah, sure, like why not? So Friday I talked to him, and Saturday, Monday I was working for him and doing like BPOs and lot boxes and signs, just like all the grunt work. But I was working all those jobs probably within like a 2-3 summer span. And this was during the recession where everyone lost their jobs, the short sale REOs, but I was making really good money because I was willing to work.
So let's talk about that. Like John Cheplack yesterday, and you're coached by John, right?
I've been in a lot of his training.
Yeah, okay. So you got to do the work.
Yeah, got to do the work,
right? Work is a
works.
must.
Yeah.
Is a must, right? And you got to focus on the right things, but you got to put the work in. So what gave you that drive? Was it the humble beginnings? Was it just inside you? Was it your parents? What gave you the drive to hold like 3 or 4 jobs at one time and realize that was the best thing for you at that time?
I just like, honestly just like being active. It's fun for me. I don't see work as work, and if you make it fun, it's different. And all those jobs I think are pretty interesting, right? To give out free stuff or to walk the streets, the street walker, and not sell drugs. So like it kept me pretty entertained, and I was young too, I had a lot of energy. And at night, going out pretty often, and so I didn't have any boundaries. There was like a phase of where it was like all Jersey Shore GTLs. I was like trying to live that LA for fun.
And then you briefly talked about entering real estate in your early 20s, right? But before that, before you even thought about real estate, weren't you already into video? To some degree, or at least technology?
Yeah, like building computers, building websites. I had a very successful, very popular blog on Zanga, but then like I was writing like paragraphs and paragraphs about my life out there, had a really strong follower base. But then the thing about my blog, I didn't actually have my picture on it. No one knew who I was, and that's kind of like, that's why I really enjoyed marketing. My handle at the time was LL, he just said. So that was kind of my online persona. And then later changed to DIZMFKER for a lot of the stuff and my gamer tag and all that. But it also like on MySpace had a lot of fun on there with no picture. So I was always like into marketing. Branding, getting my voice out there, but not necessarily me being seen. Even on Facebook, I think kind of like how I did the Kenny Fast thing early on. I really was a big Kanye West.
Kanye
West
West
fan. So
East is good too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, but then my Facebook name for like when I first signed up for Facebook early on, it was just Kenny East. Yeah. So there was no Kenny Fast. It was Kenny East. So I was like, I don't like being in the limelight, but I just like building things like at a high level.
You mentioned the acronym that it went so fast. Like it was a KFMKR. What was that you just said?
You have the sound out of your head. Yeah.
Okay. Now I think it's time. So real estate time.
Yeah.
What made you alluded to it a little bit, but what made you know that you wanted to get your license and start something, even though you had no idea you'd be where you are right now as far as #1 EXP team? What made you do that?
I don't have like a passionate story about real estate. I saw my broker crushing with REOs and making really good money. I was like, oh, that does seem so hard to. And again, back then also it wasn't really a relationship business. It was bank-owned foreclosures, short sales. So you're helping people with their needs, or just investors coming in and write offers. So I saw an opportunity in the market. I was like, this doesn't look that hard. The people here are not that smart. Like in the real estate, with that said, like a lot of the mentors I had, or like the people, not mentors, people I saw in real estate within the community, within a couple of years they actually exited the business. I was like, it's just getting people to talk to you, right? So how hard can that be, get in front of people? And then like, I was assistant for a year, and eventually I just got my license, and then I got recruited to one of my close friends' sister's company, and that broker at the time had like 150 agents a year before. When the market crashed, the C21 franchise crashed, and he had 6 people. So I joined that company, not really knowing what I was doing. It took me about 8 months to even do my first deal, and I remember I made like $800. I was like, this is pretty stupid. Like, what am I doing this for?
Wait, how did you make that $800?
I showed this guy like 60 homes. Like Bango property, and he didn't want to do an inspection. I remember like, this is the money per hour. I was like, this doesn't make sense. But I had other jobs going on, so I didn't take it seriously. But the funny part about that, like, I think I made that sound like August, but in August and September, I don't even count that as my first sale, just because I had blacked out so bad. But I went to Inman News, and I couldn't afford it, or I didn't want to pay the whatever it was. I went to the Tech Connect or whatever, was the free camp day was, and then went to Asian Real Estate Association in San Francisco, and I saw these cool people. I was like, these people also don't look that smart or professional or whatever. I was like, this is just regular people. I can totally do this because I'm from all my online years of talking to people online, kind of in whatever circles. I was like, okay, I think I can do this.
That's awesome. Do you read a lot?
I don't read books a lot. I used to, but I probably have because my coach actually asked me for suggestions on newsletters yesterday. I read about 20, 25 different newsletters every single week. I subscribe to all kinds of stuff, and that's actually a big part of my business is gathering information, posting online, showing my team. So I'm pretty wide knowledge in finance, tech, and just all kinds of stuff. That's just fun information.
I think it makes sense to mention that life is obviously a journey for all of us, and really the journey is just a number of problems, right? It's a number of problems we all face, and then how you handle that. We all have our own. We can choose how we think of a problem. What is that? And you somehow look at problems as fun challenges. We just talked about this backstage. How do you do that? How do you do that day in and day out? Because running a team with your team's 250 strong?
Yeah, we're currently at about 250. At our peak in February, we were 374. I looked at the numbers in the last couple of years. I think the first 3 years ago, we brought on about 150. The next year, we brought on 170. Last year, we recruited about 260 team members. But we're down to 250 right now. We had a huge, we'll talk about it later, we cut a ton of people from the team.
So running a team like that, you're going to face not one problem, but many problems, dozens maybe every day. How are you able to flip that upside down and make that a fun challenge? That's the word you use. You said, I turn problems into fun challenges, and I'm like, okay, can I take a class on that? 101, turning problems into fun challenges?
Honestly, how you look at things. I mean, the more challenges you can fix, the more people will work for you, and it's exciting. I think real estate I really love real estate. The process of it, the technology, the people, because you can never master real estate. The market's shifting right now, and it's shifting back again. There's different challenges you have. So I don't know. I look at a video game. I played way too much video games, but I kind of see it that. So you just have to power through it, and then you're leading people too. You're making impact in people's lives, or agents, and you're having fun, and kind of like innovative, breaking things. So I feel like I've been doing the same thing for 30-something years, just getting in front of something and just attacking it.
This number just blew my mind, and I'll have to admit, I didn't know this until today. He recruited, you and your team, I'm not sure it's all you, but he recruited 560 agents in 4 years.
Yeah, since January 2020.
Yeah, so how did you do that? For those in the audience, yesterday I had you raise your hand. Who's recruiting? You all raised your hand. Then I said, who should be recruiting? More people raised their hand. So for those teams, leaders that are here that they have 3 agents, they have 30, they have 90, and they want to grow, you did this in 4 years. What's the secret sauce? How did you accomplish that? Of course you had attrition, because you have 250 now, but how did you do that in such a short period of time?
I actually started with my last brokerage. My first team, so my first brokerage, I was there for 4 years. By my 3rd year, I remember I was signed up to be a Redfin partner agent, so I got tons of leads, and then I needed help, so I hired a couple assistants. You could get licensed within half a year back then. So I started that, and I grew it to a team of 4. And then that was easy because people saw you making money, and the two guys I recruited, they were working at Circuit City. I'm not sure if they're still around. Circuit City doing car installs, and I knew they were smart guys because they're also kind of techy too in that field. So I brought them on assistants, and then grew that sales team. And on Redfin was giving so much leads. I actually became the #1 agent across all counties as a partner agent in my first year with them, because it's just strategy, showing homes, such. And then, after the 4th year, I was like, this is not for me. The team's not as motivated as me. I thought everyone just as motivated as me at this, but realized this is not normal. The more people you talk to. I joined Climb Real Estate, my second broker. I was like, I'm not doing teams anymore. But people kind of have seen you speak before, or someone else told you they saw you speak on stage, stuff like that. And within that year, a couple of people reached out to me. And by the end of the year, I had 5 mentees, not quite. And that year, at my 5th year in real estate, with Inman, I won the real estate most innovative agent of the year. And my brokerage, Climb, won most innovative brokerage of the year. And after that, within the week, I said, hey, we actually have this thing we want you to work on, an E-team. like they were spending money on Zillow essentially. So then they had me actually take over the entire program, work for them. So I had immediately 10 to 15 people placed under me, and we kind of use that as a recruiting tool. So like kind of like a prehistoric flex thing, like today's flex. I grew that team to like 50, 60 people, but it wasn't really my team. I got paid a pretty good referral on every single deal, kind of managed that. But using that, I was able to bring on about 65 agents to that company. I didn't get paid for recruiting, by the way. I just did it, and they worked on Zillow that I got paid. So it's just kind of been a natural thing. People want to work around people who are doing innovative things or doing business. But I didn't actually start this team, hashtag team fast, till 5 years ago. Because when the market was still good, but Compass came in the market and took all of our agents. So all my friends were leaving. I was like, okay, I got to figure it out because all my partners leaving. I still want to do a lot of business. So I actually started this actual sales team my 5th year there and my 9th year in business. And then that lasted a year. We grew from 0 to 10 agents. We did pretty well, like 88 transactions, 56 million. But I was also partnering with other agents in the industry. I mean, in my office. And we came over here at this company. Again, like being innovative, people want to work with you. Mm-hmm. We came over to EXP in January 2020 with 10 agents. End of January, within 6 weeks, COVID came and shut everything down. And then when the world was shut down, I was like, what can you do? And I got asked to be on like 2 masterminds. I was like, this is pretty cool. And these are smart people. I was like, but this is pretty easy. They're just doing masterminds. Some people are like, why don't I do one of like these masterminds? And then I set these masterminds. And between like March to May, I hosted like 34, 35 masterminds, like top 1% of our market, top Alameda County, Contra Costa County team leaders, hustle motivation. I did like my own startup alley, Inman Startup Alley, had 3 tech tools today, and so on. And that was hosted on, and then I started tagging people. We are on Zoom, but then I was like, wait, I can stream this to Zoom, from Zoom to Facebook, and tag every single person.
Nice.
And then I started giving social media cards to promote. So every day people would just watch all my masterminds. And then that was during a time when brokers said you shouldn't sell real estate, it's health risk, you shouldn't sell real estate, virtual tours, whatnot, all kind of stuff. But then by June, I hired my first independent agent at EXP. We were hashtag Team Fast. I filed for DBA in April, got approved in August. So Fast Real Estate was born in August. But people wanted to work for me. I was like, well, you guys look like you're fun. You look like you know what you're talking about. I didn't. I held these meetings with like 26 top agents. I spoke for like 2 minutes, but I got all the clout because it's being visible. And by then, like from 17 agents in June, I ended up having over 80-ish team members by January. And that progressed. So that thing just kind of took off. Like it was just bringing value to the community, being innovative, and people want to work for you. And then eventually the following January, we had like 220 agents, and last year to start this year with 330. And it's all been organic growth. We're really focused on social media. And that's kind of messaging our company for recruiting. The first year, like it was a lot of scare tactics. A lot of my top agents I didn't talk about earlier. I was like, you're not going to get Zillow Flex. You're going to be screwed. And then we got Zillow Flex. And then first year, the COVID year, or first EXP year, I was like, well, no one's selling real estate. We'll teach you how to be a little more leading edge, use 3D tours and virtual open houses, all kind of fun stuff. The year after that, I was like, okay, we're the Flex team. You got to come here for Flex. And we recruited crazy to Flex. But then the third year, last year, it was like, well, Flex probably going away because 3 years ago, Flex, we did 99 million. Last year, we did 80. This year, we won't even do more than 20. And so for numbers, like first year was 14% of our business. Now Flex is 3% of our business. Online leads is actually only 13% of our business. And we did 1,010 units last year. So we're really proud of like organic business.
1,010 units.
Yeah. And then last year, the messaging was, you gotta go all in social media. And then towards the second half of the year, I was like, okay, we got the social media thing down. We're known for that. We're known for being kind of leading edge. Okay, now what? In the market turn, we completely shift our focus to just ground game. Like I'll talk a little more maybe later about like accountability and all that, but we shifted to all like open houses, door knocking, stuff like that. And then now this year, today is the first day on the new Zillow Flex seller program. We don't think it's going to be a huge part of our business. We're actually really excited for it to be recruiting agents and then leveling up our agents to get more organic business. So that thing turned on this morning. I haven't seen it yet.
So after John Cheplak spoke, I think he had another gig or whatever. He went to the airport, and I was just going to call him and thank him, like give him a voicemail, and he answered. He said, "Hey, what's up, Andrew?" And I just thanked him for, giving him that hour to us, and he dropped a lot of knowledge yesterday. One of the things he talked about is revenue producing activities. And he made a very good distinction between a closed deal versus recruiting an agent. Do you remember that? It was like $100,000 versus $10,000. So it's a 10 times more of a revenue producing activity recruiting someone. So before we leave recruiting, you recruit all day. That's what you're doing, right? In this market, everybody's market's different, but we're all in a challenging market in their own way. Let's say the recruiting's going great. How do you select the agent though? Is it hungry? Is it desire? Is it experience? What are you looking for and why?
I mean, to be honest, prior to this year, we brought in anyone because, I don't know, the qualifiers and then you think about my overhead. I think tech tools is roughly $50 a month or something. An agent might do a deal in the next 2 years. Okay, that's still a good ROI on it. But now this year, we are a little more selective. If we interview 5 people, we probably won't have 1 come on. The thing about recruiting, talking to a lot of team leaders, experience, you just don't know when someone's gonna be successful. There's people they just need to break out the shell and they crush it online. A lot of it is social media driven. A shy person can, if they get into the rhythm of creating content, then they can crush it. And you have really smart people that just are not. Dale did a cool thing yesterday about optimism and driven. I got to look at the chart, but there's some really smart people that just cannot do real estate. They're stuck in their own ways, stuff like that. So we tend to bring a lot of people, but we've slowed down the onboarding process a lot, which has helped us a lot. Before we took on people and we kind of enhanced our onboarding process. Right now they have a 30-day onboarding cycle. And we use Sisu for recruiting tool too. We use the update where before it was one big spreadsheet. We actually were using a spreadsheet to 100-something agents where every agent had access to the spreadsheet. Go in yourself and tell me what you've done already. It became a mess. Then we went to Asana and now we use Sisu, so we had to open up doors. This might be, I don't touch any of this stuff, so I may be a little off, but here's your general onboarding. You have to go to these classes. Now your tech onboarding and now you get this. So then you get leads. You can't get leads until you've done a buyer consultation. You can't get a buyer consultation unless you get this or you go into this. So we kind of open up these doors of new things for them to do. And then now they have accountability. If they come in the first 30 days, they have to do open houses. They have to door knock. They have to shadow, stuff like that. So we have a checklist of all that stuff where we don't even give them certain tools until they add on. It kind of leads to what we've been able to do in the latter half of last year. We launched Intensity. We call it Intensity. Elias, my sales director, we put 40 people signed up. It's optional, but the goal for the month was you have to do 50 door knockings a week, 20 conversations, 3 wheels, open houses, video text to people, and we had it all laid out. It's all marked in Sisu. But that group of 40, we ended up knocking 8,000 doors a month, and we had hundreds of 300 or 400 appointments set. And then when we did the second time around, it was a lighter group because they kind of went through it. But I think we knocked another 3,000 doors, and it's it's really basic activities, but it's hard to sell that. It's not sexy. It's not cool. Okay, what does the team do? Well, we do this, but we really just have agents do the things you're supposed to do. That we track it, and then we award them too. They use Sisu to track 4 categories right now. People opt in. Hours working in your business, hours working on your business, appointments set, and I think conversations had. And then every month we take the winner in each category. Every 2 months we take them out to a lunch, a nice lunch, and then we recognize them and we create content from it. They talk about what it means to be here, and they're all super motivational, stuff like that. And then we also reward our top producers 3 units, 3 volume each month. So now we change this to every quarter. It's we take 18 people out to a really nice dinner. So we're really big on awarding action in our environment.
So there's no such thing as a free lunch, but I guess there is if you work your ass off.
Oh yeah, we in July, so last year we had 60 people on our team go to Cabo, Hard Rock Cabo.
Nice.
25 of them, top 25 in the company, I paid for their trips. I actually booked 80 rooms and we had 20 rooms. I got either huge costs on that, but they gave us half the credit back. This year, between June 26th to July, so I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks, we had a Hot Reels summer contest. Whoever made the most number of reels, I think 40 people participated, and then even the top 20, someone did 20 reels in a month. Then the top 10 winners, we took them out to Cabo for free. So now we rewarded them for making content. Now they get in the rhythm of creating content. You can't really go back from that. So we're reinforcing, them doing the activity.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
The lunches, the Cabo, all that. I'll go to Cabo.
What to see there?
Would I fit in your duffel bag? Let's rewind, because as we were in the VIP room, you pulled up a spreadsheet, and it said, I saw this huge number. It said 12,000, and I'm like thinking, was that your commission split on this or what? He goes, no. That's how many doors were knocked by my team in a matter of months. And so, well, first of all, how many of you in your career at one point have door knocked? Wow, look at that, Kenny, over half.
That's good.
How many would you say that your team members should be doing some door knocking? Okay, so give me the stats on how that record you said of 12,000, and then also.
This is 34 agents in a 4-week cycle. Combined, we did 490 videos, 8,018 doors knocked, 2,868 conversations, 236 appointments, 18 ratified contracts. But this is a very specific group of 34 agents that opt in, and then we ran the program again, had lighter numbers on it, but then we decided this is a really good program, so we're gonna run it bi-monthly now. And then we took this program, I don't know the details, we cut it in half or something, and then in February I was like, okay, it's time to really cut and figure out our costs. So we wanted to trim down our people. So we sent an email to people. I was like, hey, you haven't done it. We haven't seen you, heard from you, done anything in like a year. Would you like to? Maybe it makes more sense for you to go solo EXP or find a different thing. And it was people are kind of upset about it. But I think 10 people literally just quit real estate that month. They needed that little push to get out. And a lot of people moved to solo EXP, and then the people who recommitted, and we emailed them 3 times, we texted a bunch of times. Some people still say they didn't see it, whatever. And then we put them in the program, a very light version. So the intensity group I just show you, those groups were fun. People were like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I had big why. And if they didn't do it, they got kicked out of the group live. It was hard, sorry, you're out. And it held the standards. But we did the light group. It was kind of depressing in there. People was like, it wasn't they didn't have the big why. I was like, well, I love this team. You got, I really want to be here. Yeah, but you haven't done anything, showed up. So from that program, I think we had 40 people in there. We ended up cutting about 25 or so. We kept 15. So, and throughout the program, people didn't want to be challenged and pushed or held accountable. Chep personal accountability, love, all that. So people eventually just left. So yeah, we were able to slim down 374 to 240, really 240-ish really solid agents. We haven't been at 240 since last February. Last year with our 1,010 transactions, we looked at it, 240 agents touched the deal. So last year, average deal was 4 deals, which is pretty good considering 85-87% of our business is organic.
Sure. What's your East Bay, San Francisco? What's the average sales price?
Our average sales price last year was about 760. Right now it's probably closer to 700.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, in the year this year we're tracking to be down by about 20% in volume, but maybe 15% in units. Our market's down 30, 40%, even 50%, and San Francisco's down 50%. We'll probably do 40 transactions here. So we're pacing really well against the market, and now it's the messaging, right, from the flex and social media accountability. Now people are okay, we're not here to play around. People want to be on this team. If you want to be productive, this is the team you want to be at, and you build your brand online. And then again, we're kind of big on social. People come here, and then now we're looking to hire more experienced agents in the market.
So we haven't, what we haven't talked about is how important culture is to you and hiring that way. For those that are wondering how you're successfully hiring within your culture, talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, love culture, but culture, if you look at culture, I think we switched our wording around 2 years ago, but you look at culture, whether you're with, Keller Williams has really great culture, Compass has really great culture, you got different companies, but you're diehard about the brand, right? We're somewhere to be, so we definitely have culture. Any good brokerage should have culture, but what we have, I think that exceeds other competitors in the market, we have really good community. Because when people are here, their friends are hanging out with each other, they're doing things after hours, they're having lunch with each other, they're actually here for each other and not the culture. Because some top companies with really good agents and good branding, but you go there, they're not actually collaborative as it is. So we're really focused community. And because we're like such a social media driven team, people are kind of reposting each other online. You have more clout, you have more followers doing that. We did tons of events last year, like that brought in a lot of different, we speak like 13 different languages at least. So people want to be a part of something, and they want to be around the people. Like last year, I'm doing chronological order. We had like a Black History Month. So we had the all black panel, then we had all black women panel, and then later on we had all Latinas panel, then we had a Pride panel, and then we had, our Pride panel was crazy. After Pride panel, like a week later, we did a Pride party. We brought in drag queens, we had a whole strip, people were flipping upside down with guns. It was like one of the funnest parties I've ever been to and held in our office. Dad's panel, like so we did all kind of stuff to bring in different culture. And this year we decided not to do that stuff just because the market's down, and I think I talked to you yesterday, like events are there's definitely way less attendant now because people aren't in a good mood. Like you would hate to go to the event, like how's business? This sucks. Oh, your business sucks too? Like I don't even want to be there. Like it's just the energy. So we saw like a huge decrease in that, but we were able to bring that in. Now we're a team known as all those things and more. So like that's how I think you build a really good community, and they just want to share and be with each other. And also because of our market office-wise, we're in Oakland, Walnut Creek, Brentwood, Stockton. So like it's an hour and 20 minutes span this way. We're also in Sacramento, an hour and half north, and Hercules Hayward, we have 7 retail offices. So our agents collaborate a lot. We looked at our listings recently, like 2/3 of our listings are between 2 agents. And the buy people are doing the buy sides, working together a lot. That's something I learned at my last company, because I probably partnered with 20 different agents at the last company. That's really rare for agents to partner with other agents. You might have a partner or two. That's kind of DNA we built. So that's really driven community and helps with retention.
I want to congratulate you on how focused you are on diversity and community. That's awesome, and I'm sure it's a big part of your brand. Yeah,
it is. I mean, a lot of other brokerages in our area. I mean, I think for most of your markets, the demographic is, and ours is probably a 60, 55-year-old Caucasian woman with a college degree or something. That's like the most common demographic. But so our market is pretty similar. But and then like, many people have came to us because they felt their brokerage was not diverse enough. So like because of that, even more people come over. We're like the diverse brokers. Other brokers are having a hard time growing that. But there has been a flip in concentrating on that and bringing younger talent. In my market, like Compass is dominant. They have like at one point 30-70% market share. And KW, if you look at real trends, like 70% of lists is KW or Compass, and you have all these crushers there. But our specialty is really we're willing to take on new agents. We have a training program for them, and they come, they have fun, and we create a lot of content. And if you guys can like check out the Fast Agents is our Instagram. You'll see that like our company, we kind of like model it more like after Side is really brokerage, or Realty One Group, where our company, Fast Real Estate, isn't really a brand for consumers. We're a brand for agents. So if you even look at the posts on Instagram, there's no listings there, there's nothing towards where it would make a client work with us, but everything on there is agent focused, so we make it a home for agents. We brand to agents, we support agents.
It's hashtag Team Fast, right?
Hashtag Team Fast, or at the Fast Agents, and I'm at Kenny Fast.
So I want to just throw this out there. Thanks to all of our sponsors that came, and you're obviously, thank you for using Follow Up Boss. So let's talk about the first one you leverage with Follow Up Boss real quick, because you brought this up. Ylopo, your ISAs, and Follow Up Boss. Can you speak to that? Don't dive too deep, but how does that working for you at a high level?
Yeah, so Ylopo, we use it for fastrealestate.com. We have a really sick website. I think it's custom made. We actually modeled it after Kyle Whistle's site. We use that for consumer facing, and the leads come in. They like the interface. A lot of recruiting happens on that website too. One of the favorite things about Follow Up Boss is kind of smart list. So we have a team of, we have 4. I think we have a team of 3 ISAs now. Our lead ISA is in Jamaica, but she converts at high level, and then she oversees 2 ISAs in Philippines, so they're calling daily on that. And then we also use, I like the integration of that so you can see what's happening. And then we also use Real Scout, or we use both because they're all integrated, but essentially the ISA's calls to the person who was last on the site, and that's helped a lot for us.
You're the first team lead that I've met that has a ISA from Jamaica, man.
Yeah, Tim Hay, like KW Crusher, like he had a company, and they're talking to him directly, but he had a company, I think it was called, maybe I'm mixing up, maybe it was called Phone Animal or something else, but we hired 2 people from them, and they ended up selling whatever, probably not Phone Animal, this company to somewhere else, and so we ended up getting freelance and then hiring them independently.
So you quickly said Real Scout, they're here too.
Yeah, Real Scout's really been amazing for us.
So what's the big difference that you're leveraging Real Scout versus Wailopo?
Wailopo has kind of our old leads in there, our old database. We have like 95,000 people in our database.
Yeah.
So we're able to load them all in. But Real Scout, the new leads coming in, the agents create their own search alerts. Yesterday I just disabled the automatic search alert. But then the words social media, Instagram and Real Scout are the most common words in our meetings, because the agents are going there and seeing who's hot, who's looking at certain things and calling them. So the tracking the activity on that has been game changer for most of the new agents.
Okay, now let's shift into, we talked a lot about recruiting, we talked a lot about your tech stack quickly, but we covered both Real Scout and Wailopo. Let's talk about your marketing. I'm smiling because as we were in the VIP room talking about it, you mentioned things like Star Wars and keeping it fun, and I think all of us could learn from that, like not taking everything so seriously, if you will, with your marketing. So how have you made your marketing fun?
So you can't really find it online anymore, but I want to, for like a good, let me go back. I started a #Fast Agent brand in my 3rd year of real estate, because I had an M5 car, and I put the 5 in there, so the license plate was Fast Agent with the 5 in it. And then I eventually just started using that #Fast Agent. It was the only thing on Instagram and Twitter. It wasn't even on Facebook yet. I was like, what if I got people call me this? It sounds stupid. And then I started making these newsletters. I remember the first one was like Breaking Bad. Instead of BA, or I don't know, I had all these pop culture stuff like Snickers or Raiders or movie trailers or even like Playboy and Dada Hub, like all this. And I would trick out these newsletters every single week to have that branding on it and update my LinkedIn, Zillow, Twitter, Facebook business page to it. And people kind of like love reading my newsletter. I want a lot of words for it. And then in the streets, I bought a bunch of bench ads, the entire bus bench just said #Fast Agent on it. So they would get offline people to come online and see my marketing. So that was pretty strong for a couple of years, but like my key has always been to be visible, back to like MySpace or all those marketing days. Like I used to be on, and this was before there's API or sync from the MLS feed to Zillow. I would take all my brokers' old listings, he did like 100 deals a year, and manually type them all into input them into Zillow and Trulia. And then Trulia, I would curate content, learn from Christoph Chu, content all these blogs from every day on Trulia. So in Zillow, I had the most listings. On Trulia, I had on blogs, I ranked the highest on points because I kept feeding blogs on it. I was also on Active Rain. And I became the resident partner agent. I used to have a GoPro strapped to my chest, walking around everywhere. And as you cut the videos, it's terrible. It's like bird eye view and shaky. But I was able to embed that video on my website and write really dumb, funny comments about the homes on Redfin and drive traffic back and took their clients. And then Foursquare checking on different things. But that was like early stages. More recently, we started using AI, not for consumers, but for fun. Like last week, we created a newsletter. We have a weekly newsletter called Fast News, has all the stuff that's happening in our company.
That's cool.
And we have Fast Events where all the events have a company. And then we have Keep It Moving coaches, that's coaching, that's Keep It Moving, coaching, that's Elias's thing. But last week, with our very first newsletter, the whole thing was Star Wars. We had all these like AI generated graphics of our agents, all the branding, all that was kind of cool on that. So we're trying to make an effort to use more marketing. Some stuff that we've done, I haven't seen any other teams do, is I think around May or June, instead of like a just sold post, on your wall, now we create like tricked out reels, like 5 pages reel with animated animations in it, and then we have with the agent's information, because then they make really ugly ones if they're going to make it. So now we make, every time we have a closing, we post it to an Instagram story, we tag them in it, and now sometimes they'll download it and change it. Now we're trying to like up that even more using custom created images through Midjourney, and then use like runway.ml to make the pictures of the property or whatever animated. So now that we're trying to trick out the reels even more so. Something I did pretty different a couple days ago that blew out. I think it has like 250 shares on it. If you go to Kenny Fast, we use Hey Gen, which is learned that from Jason Patana and Tom Ferry the other week. So I sat in the room with a white background, sharp recording, and I just spoke randomly about anything. I was for 2 minutes, and then a week and a half later, sent me back an avatar. And now an avatar, it looks dead on. Like now I can have my avatar say whatever I want. So that, a lot of people haven't seen it. It's really, really trippy. And then now, I was a beta tester for that. What we're gonna do with that is now create educational buyer series videos, and it can accelerate, hey, now you just got an escrow, now what? Or hey, this is our marketing. So now, if we can create these like on 10, 20 videos, I think it's like maybe $2 each for each video, on top of the $300 avatar, we can create video series for myself and my team, all watermarked with our company, and create entire video series for all of our agents. And then and then we use High Note at a very high level. High Note is this kind of presentation tool. Now we can create High Note decks for our team to do that. So we're early stage on that. That's something we're most excited about, that I've been trying to figure out for a while. I couldn't get the agents to come in to record these series because it's too hard with the scripting and all that. So that's going to be a big game changer for our business this year.
Kenny, I want to thank you, man. You've been pulling back the curtain. You're sharing everything, which I really, I think everybody appreciates. One thing we haven't talked about is failure. Failure, right? We all can learn from failure. You learn what to do next time. You get back up and you do it again. And you and I have a lot of friends, hundreds of friends in the audience right now. Two of my favorite people in the audience happen to be, I don't know if they're in the audience, but Sean and Melissa Lemp. They're crushing it in Boise, Idaho. And the reason I bring up, awesome. The reason they're here, the reason I bring them up is they're at a stage where they're super successful, but they're also thinking about how can we be more successful in expanding. Mm-hmm. So the failure I'm talking about is you actually made an attempt to go SoCal, meaning you're in NorCal,
yeah,
and you're going to start an office and do this. So I think since the theme of this conference is resilience, I guess can you share, with a minute to go on the clock, can you share what you learned from, you're still here, you're still crushing it, but you had a failure.
Careful with expansion. So last year we were on this roll, and we hired almost 300 team members. Like, okay, this is unstoppable, the market's going to go. I've never been a psycho either, lesson learned. But last May, we opened up 5 retail offices, built out for like 75, 100 grand each, it was crazy. And then we expanded to SoCal. I was like, okay, I kind of partnered down there. We opened up shop, we brought in a dozen agents, but the market literally tanked that quarter.
Timing was tough.
Yeah, the timing was really off, and I didn't understand the city. So you're already gonna spend a little research. I didn't quite understand Irvine. Literally had no clue till I lived there. I should have lived there for a week. I've only been, and the next day I was like, oh, I'm gonna get an apartment down here. So I had another team member. I've only been down there 4 times last year. And then recruiting didn't work. In a year, we hired a recruiter on salary. That also didn't work. So we were pushing, trying everything. Let's go down there, hold more events, more training, all that. And it just did not work. It was like a multi-6-figure failure. So now looking back, okay, let's calm down on expansion and just, I think it's smarter to just double or triple down in the current market you're in. Because I have 7 offices. It's pretty, not easy, but it's pretty simple to double from 3 or 4 or 5 top producers in each office. So now we're kind of just focused on that. I would say just be very careful with expansion. But it's a lesson learned. It could have been way worse.
In final few seconds, my question for you is, how have you learned from your failures? You've had a ton to get where you are. You're number 1 now. How have you learned from them? Just to give.
I don't know if I learned. I just don't do the same thing again. Yeah, I mean,
simple.
I'm really happy about the position of our company, where we're at right now, the future of it, just given demographic of agents, the things we're doing, momentum. We have tons of different marketing projects. We're really, really built for a really powerful next year. I'm super optimistic. I'm Lance Lambert is one of the best people to follow on Twitter. I'm reading all these articles. Most articles are now pretty optimistic about the market, or at least it can't get any worse. So we're looking at this. If this is our worst year in real estate, and we're still gonna crank out 900 deals, we're really, really excited for the next couple years to come.
Congratulations on all your success. Can we give Kenny a big round of applause? And Kenny, all we have to do now is say, Stacy Soleil, the head of Follow Up Boss Community Success, does such a great job. Stacy, take it away.
Thanks, Stacy. Yeah.
Good job, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.